Mortal Kombat has finally arrived. This film has been in development for a very long time. We had the original Mortal Kombat back in, 95? Paul W.S. Anderson, then a sequel, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, which was an absolute abomination against humanity. And so funny. I love watching that movie. Oh my God.
As long as I have the power, Khan, you will never rule this world.
As long as the portal remains open, your world becomes my world.
But all these years later, we have a new adaptation of the film that's rated R and very bloody and very violent. This film tells the story of MMA fighter Cole Young, who seeks out Earth's greatest champions in order to stand against the enemies of Outworld in a high-stakes battle for the universe. When it comes to the Mortal Kombat games, my friends and I always enjoyed kicking each other's asses in them, but I never really got into the story. I know there's a lot of story to Mortal Kombat. Never really interested me. I liked ripping people's spines out. What can I say? That's about it. So that's really all I wanted from this movie. I wanted really bloody, brutal, epic fights that felt weighty, that had impact to them. It was rated R, and that's what was promised me. The first 10 minutes of the movie, I was like, holy shit, this is way better than I thought it was going to be. Because my friend and I, we actually made popcorn, and we were just going to watch this and kind of laugh and stuff our faces filled with popcorn and candy. But the first 10 minutes of the movie were surprisingly great. I love Hiroyuki Sanada. I think he's one of the best actors ever. Check out the original Japanese Ring, Last Samurai, The Wolverine, The Twilight Samurai. The guy's amazing. And so to see him in this video game movie, I was like, oh man, they're going for authenticity here. There's some serious fucking seasoned talent in this movie. Awesome. And then they pulled the 2014 Godzilla, where that movie started out with Bryan Cranston, got us wrapped up into that character, and then pivoted to a far less interesting character in Aaron Taylor Johnson's Soldier. This movie does the same thing by pivoting away from Hiroyuki Sanada's Hanzo Hasashi and going to someone named Cole Young, who's an MMA fighter, an invented character, has nothing to do with Mortal Kombat lore. That's fine, I don't give a shit. Do whatever you want as long as the story's good. I just didn't really find this character very interesting. He was a down and out kind of underdog fighter who wanted to provide for his family, and we've seen that 21,000 times. So I don't know. It was a strange choice to sort of have him be the protagonist when there is so many, a plethora of other more interesting Mortal Kombat characters to make the protagonist. But beyond that, I found the movie mostly pretty entertaining, especially when Kano came on screen. Josh Lawson as Kano is a scene stealer without a doubt. He's so much of a scene stealer, it's mind-boggling. It's like he's in a different movie. The other great addition to the film is Sub-Zero. He's exactly what I wanted to see from Sub-Zero. A badass who shows up in the real world sometimes, kills some people with ice, and does some fucked up shit. I really liked Sub-Zero a lot in the film. He's what he needed to be. As I said, my expectations for this movie were give me bloody, brutal fights and have them say some funny Mortal Kombat catchphrases and make me laugh while I choke to death on popcorn. And for the most part, I got that. However, I do have one major complaint with the movie, and it's unfortunately the way they edited the fight scenes. If you've watched my channel for a long time, you know that I'm not really a fan of quick cut editing. I never have been, and I don't really know anyone who is. For whatever reason, they decided to do that quite often. There is a considerable amount of coverage to these fight scenes, and they cut around them a lot. And I don't understand why. It's just ugly. It doesn't have to be that way. And the other thing is that while the fights are very bloody at times, it seems very focused on the fatality element, like we're going to kill this person in a very gruesome way at the end. But before that, it's very PG-13. The fights don't feel like they have weight to them. There's not a lot of impact to the punches. Characters get boulders thrown on them, and then the boulders are picked up and they have dust on their shoulders, and that's it. There's not a lot of blood until somebody gets sliced in half by a spinning hat. Okay, that's fucking awesome. But for the most part, it doesn't really feel like people are being hurt or are in danger. I look at a movie like The Raid, for instance. That, to me, feels more like Mortal Kombat. Characters in that movie feel like they are being brutalized and truly viciously, savagely hurt. Here, it feels very PG-13 until they're killed. And I wish that there was more impact to the way these fights happen, and they didn't feel so superhero-y, where it feels like everyone can just kind of get up and walk away. That's not how I envision Mortal Kombat, and when you're going for a rated R and you have that opportunity to make incredibly well choreographed fights that are also very brutal and you feel that pain and they don't do it, I would say that was the movie's biggest actual flaw for me. You know, I mean, the character stuff, I expected to be cheesy. I expect the world to be silly and over the top. I wanted all of that, and the movie gave me that. But the best parts of the movie are easily Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Anything involving those two people, fucking great. The whole setup of what they could do in the future, I don't know. I was a little disappointed also that the Mortal Kombat element of the tournament felt like it was just this thing they talked about sometimes. The actual fights between a lot of these characters in the third act felt almost like a montage, very quick and throwaway. But honestly, I feel like most Mortal Kombat fans, especially hardcore Mortal Kombat fans, will find enjoyment in this movie, and I certainly laughed a lot and had fun while people were being brutally killed. I just wish that it was, I'm not saying more gritty or realistic. I just want to feel like they are in danger. Like the pain element of Mortal Kombat, I need to feel like that's part of this universe the next time we see more of these fights. I'm going to give Mortal Kombat a C+. Guys, thank you so much as always for watching, but I also want to tell you about a pretty cool video game right now that's in the middle of a Kickstarter. It's called Ghosts. It's a new FMV game from one of the writer-producers of Host, Jed Shepard, which recently won the Fangoria Chainsaw Award for Best Streaming Premiere. It's a partnership between Visible Games, Limited Run Games, Trevor Henderson, and the Jim Henson Creature Shop. It's targeting all platforms like PC, Switch, PS4, and Xbox, and the Kickstarter ends on May 7th. And I think it sounds really cool, especially if you're a horror fan, so I would suggest checking out that Kickstarter. I have linked it in the description below. Guys, thank you so much as always for watching. Look forward to more reviews very soon, and if you like this, you can click right here and get stuck manized.